welcome to another episode of the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. I am your host, the infamous Ultimate One from New York City, and like I promised, I was going to come here and talk about what happened this week with the Cody Rose situation. And as I noticed, there's a lot of information to give after what happened. I heard all the podcasters, they talked about it. I read a lot of the stuff from Wrestle Talk, a lot of stuff from Fight for Select, and I'm putting everything together. There's even word, the rumor that there was a picture taken of Cody Rhodes as of today in Poland. Is he going to show up tomorrow at the Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia tomorrow night? So that is still to come. Who knows? But as you guys know, Cody Rhodes was wrestling without a contract as of December to January, and I believe he was trying to get one and hopefully to get signed with a lot of money. Now, a lot of reports came in during this whole week about his whole situation. There was word that there was some fallout because of contract negotiations. They were a little bit off or whatever. They claimed there were lawyers involved in this contract negotiation. Cody wanted CM Punk, Adam Cole, and Bryant Danielson money. Tony Khan did not see him in that level worth. And you know that Tony Khan right now is concerned about all these contracts that are right now they're about to expire in the next couple of months with all these wrestlers that they signed before this whole nonsense started back in, this whole nonsense. And since 2019, they had signed a lot of wrestlers, and a lot of these wrestlers may not get re-signed. So he got a budget, and Cody Rhodes did not care about his budget. He wanted to get paid Daniel Bryanson, CM Punk, and Adam Cole money. Now, the reason I'm mentioning these guys, because he didn't have a problem when they signed John Moxley. He didn't have a problem when they signed Miro. Then he didn't have a problem when they signed Malachi Black. Okay? And the way I'm looking at this right now with all this stuff going on, and I go back to, we could go all the way back to All In. Now, Cody, before he thought about doing this All In and AEW, all that stuff, he was a mid-card wrestler in WWE, the son of a plumber, Dusty Rhodes. Now, you know how they treated Dusty Rhodes back in the days when he first came to WWE in 1989. If you have any recollection, like I follow Dusty Rhodes back in the days, then when he came into WWE, they put him with polka dot trunks, okay? Polka dot trunks, black with yellow spots, and they pretty much embarrassed the former 3 times NWA champion. So now let's follow that up. They brought in Dustin Rhodes. Dustin Rhodes, they changed his whole character to Goldust. Here comes the little brother, which is Cody Rhodes. Came in. He was part of a faction called Legacy, which was Ted DiBiase, Randy Orton, which was a cool faction at that time. And that went far. I think he won tag team belts. At one point, he even won the Intercontinental Championship. But back in 2014, he was done. Because that's when they put him as Stardust. People wanted to see him fight his brother, Dustin Rhodes. And the end, that never happened in WWE. So he left and he went to the Indies. He ended up going to Impact. And then before he went to Ring of Honor, or when he got to Ring of Honor, he became part of Bullet Club. And he was part of that big story that from 2017 all the way to 2018, where the Bullet Club were fighting part of the Elite. When the Elite was part of Bullet Club, before the whole thing that happened in San Francisco in 2018 with the Tama Tonga and the Tongans attacking the Elite. So all this is planned. They were all planning all this stuff to put 10,000 fans in one arena back at, I believe it was 2016 or 2017 for All in Chicago. That have not been done since the WCW days, before WWE bought WCW. So Cody Rhodes had his dream. They melted him, made fun of him. He was like, that's not going to ever happen. And he succeeded. But in that match, in the match he had against Nick Aldis, he booked himself to beat Nick Aldis for the NWA title. Now, at first, I'm like, okay, he did that because he wants to keep the legacy of the Rhodes family. Dustin Rhodes never won the NWA belt. Dusty did 3 times. Now Cody wanted to do that. Cody ended up losing the belt back in April of the following year to Nick Aldis. And then they started AEW Dynamite. The first match of AEW Dynamite, he booked himself to wrestle Sammy Guevara. He booked himself to win that match. Then he booked himself in November of that year, 2019, as the first challenger to Chris Jericho's belt, the AEW title match, which in that match, they put the speculation that if he loses to Jericho, he will never get another title shot. He lost that match, which made it dramatic. I mean, he did some nice promos. I think the promo between him and Jake the Snake Roberts should have kept going. And that's when Lance Archer came into the scene and the COVID hit. And they did the TNT tournament. Here's when I had the problem with Cody. Because in that tournament, he booked himself to win the tournament. Okay? And notice that I keep saying booked himself. Okay? He beat Darby Allin in some Dusty Road finish, because this is the same thing that his father used to do. He used to book what they call the Dusty Road finish. Either disqualification, the referee gets knocked down, the foot is under the rope. He did a Dusty Road finish. Okay? He beat Darby. He ends up beating the hottest heel coming out of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Lance Archer. He beats him for the to win the title. He loses the title to Brody Lee, which in that one, I like the way they booked that, where Brody Lee beat the crap out of him in 3 minutes. But in a way, I'm like, okay, you beat him for 3 minutes, but then the door collar match, in the following rematch, he beats Brody Lee in a door collar match, which it didn't even look like a damn door collar. It looked like a belt that you wear in your pants, and then they wrapped it up with a material texture so nobody could get hurt. But he ends up beating Brody Lee. After that, we never saw Brody Lee again, and he passes away. So now, after that, you see Cody in these matches where Anthony Ogogo was trying to push these people that he was training. Okay, people that he was training. And let me move the light a little bit. It's too bright, I think. Anyway, so right after that, he starts having a feud with Anthony Ogogo. He messes that up with the weigh-in, which was the worst thing that ever happened. And then after that, his match with Anthony Ogogo was horrible. It wasn't all that. And he was laid low. But there's also his wife, Brandi. Brandi tried to do the Nightmare Collection, which was the nightmare of a bunch of wrestlers that, with the exception of Awesome Khan, the rest of the group didn't do well. Brandi wanted to wrestle. She got on the mic and she was cringe. And I think that what made it worse is when the last time she was on TV before they left AEW was that she went on in Chicago, did a promo, and said, "I'm glad to be back in Cleveland." Now, my boy said, "Well, I think she did that on purpose." I don't think she did that on purpose. She messed that up. She messed that promo, and then she took shot at on Paige about, the reason we hired you was to get to Josh Alexander, which she pretty much gave a clue that Josh Alexander may be coming to AEW. So fans did not like Brandi Rhodes. I didn't like Brandi Rhodes because she turned the TV off heat. What made it worse to me was when she got on Twitter and I guess fans were chastising her, getting on her nerves, and she said, "Well, I got more money than everything. I'm a millionaire." But in reality, you're making money because of your husband, not because of you. You can wrestle, okay? You want to wrestle, but you can wrestle. So, to make things worse was when they decided they wanted to leave. And then the reports that were coming in that Cody wanted Danielson, Punk, and Cole money. And Tony Khan has a budget, and he didn't see Cody as one of those guys to get paid that type of money. So he took his ball and went home. That's the way I see it. He took his ball and went home. Okay? And now he's talking about going to WWE. And the crazy part is How in the world are you going back to WWE when you had to sue WWE to get your name back to be known as Cody Rhodes? Okay, now you're going back to the place that embarrassed your father. They took your name for years. They didn't want to let you use it, and you're going back. So to me, honestly, listen, it's bad enough that people, people are already saying, "Oh, the AEW's numbers were down this week because of Cody Rhodes." Now, because if that's the case, okay, if that's the case, 77% of the poll that I put on Twitter shows that they feel that AEW is still going to succeed without Cody Rhodes. 77%, okay, 77%, okay. Now people don't lie, okay. Now, if you're a fan of Cody Rhodes, I understand. You're probably upset because you figure like, oh, why did they sign him? But let's be realistic. He's not at Adam Cole level. He's not in Bryan Danielson money. He's not. Okay? People were turning on him. I was at the AEW Grand Slam, and I saw that when people were booing him. And I was in shock. I was like, why are they booing him? And people were already saying, well, Malachi Black made his debut. They made it clear Cody Rhodes better not be Malachi Black in their first match. Because why? People already saw that. People already see what he was doing. He was using the Go Big Show and Rose to the Top as a way for him to boost his ego, try to get into Hollywood. He wasn't doing it for AEW. Let's be realistic. He wasn't. He's an egotistic guy. I mean, who isn't? You know what I'm saying? But he figures, hey, I'm one of the pillars of AEW. Why not get the money? You know what I'm saying? They gave the Young Bucks an extension. Kenny Omega, I don't know if he has an extension yet, but I know Jericho got an extension to 2024. You know, and people were like, oh, if they lose Jericho and they lose Cody Rhodes, it's a win for, McMahon. And if I read that WWE locker was celebrating. Well, what you guys are celebrating about? Your product still sucks at the end of the day. Okay, Cody Rhodes was not a big factor in the last couple of months of AEW. He had a great match with Andrade, don't get me wrong, and a great match with Sammy Guevara. But other than that, if you look at the gap between that time, he wasn't really part of it when AEW was doing the 1 million mark. You know, he would come here and there, but people were turning on him. People turned on him, and I guess that hurt his feelings. He figured like, well, I'm one of the pioneers, and then the fans wanted him to turn rule breaker, and he chose not to. He chose not to. He didn't want to turn rule breaker. He wanted to be the next John Cena, I guess, in AEW. And, at the end of the day, him and his wife grabbed the ball and went home. You know what I'm saying? Do I blame Tony Khan for not giving him the money? No, I don't blame him at all. He has a budget. You know what I'm saying? And he's looking to bringing in more people. Okay? He knows Bray Wyatt is out there as a free agent. You know what I'm saying? There's other wrestlers out there that, that he could get. There's word that Buddy Matthews may be the next guy part of the House of Black. So you can't blame him. And, at the end of the day, Mr. Khan, and I'm talking about Tony Khan, has to do what is best for the company. And let's be realistic. People could complain and say, oh, that's messed up because, Cody Rose was part of the pillar. And if it wasn't for him, no. If it wasn't for Tony Khan, there will be no AEW because he's the money man. Now, do I agree what happened between them? I think they should have just probably had a better, try to work things out last 6 months before the contract ended. And it didn't work out because he distanced himself also. Like I said, he had his own bus. He had his own bus traveling on his own. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't, when he was in Florida, he didn't, you're going to make yourself how you call it? A stranger to the rest of the locker room if you got your own bus, your own. So his ego was already getting to him. You know what I'm saying? And Brandi doesn't stay behind. She's falling that. This is the same girl who, if you saw Rose to the Top, the family don't really get along with her because you planning to wrestle. Yeah, I'm planning to wrestle. Well, now you go to WWE and they'll probably make you wrestle, even though that division is horrible right now. But you're not getting nowhere. You'll be probably the next Lana, or the next Eva Marie. because you can wrestle. You can. And a lot of people want to, the funny part is that when we talk about Brandi, automatically people want to pull out the race card. This has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with any of that. So I don't understand why everybody getting the panties in the wall, if you want to say it that way. But, what's going to happen? I mean, if Cody, they said they saw Cody in an airport in Poland, said that could be a stop for him to go to Saudi Arabia and show up at the Elimination Chamber tomorrow. But, I mean, let's say if he does show up in WWE, I mean, he ain't going to be the top dog. Roman Reigns is the top dog. He's not getting past Roman Reigns. He's not going to get past Brock Lesnar, the Seth Rollins. He will not be in the top 5. You know what I'm saying? Because you got Drew McIntyre still there. He'll be probably in the top 6. You know what I'm saying? And, the fact that, people are like, oh, this could be Cody versus this guy. Man, he had the opportunity to do that when he was there in 2014. So, I don't know. But to me, there was a lot of speculation that had to do with, he wasn't happy because of the Forbes video that came out. This was Andrew Zarian was talking about that Cody Rose got pissed off because in the Forbes video, Tony Khan was talking about, yeah, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the booker, I'm the one who does everything. And then it was reported about the contract negotiation. There was reported they had a fallout. And the funny thing is when Cody sent the message out, and I believe it was Monday or Tuesday, and saying thank you to the fan, thank you for Tony Khan. Tony Khan did the same one, and he put as put everything, the booker, the blah 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 blah. So probably that really happened. You know what I'm saying? Probably did happen. Who knows? I mean, we will never know. We will never know what happened behind the scenes. But I know Brandi was turn your TV off heat, because that girl, every time she got on the mic, it was just bad. It was bad. I mean, she wanted to wrestle that bad, and supposedly she was supposed to start probably a program with a girl from Dan Lambert. And then to top it off, like I was telling my boy, if you're trying to, Dan Lambert is the heel. Why is she trying to be the heel? You know what I'm saying? You're trying to get heat on Lambert, not heat on yourself. And pretty much that's what happened, with her. Especially that I didn't get the part where she took a shot at Ethan Page. Ethan Page was just laughing. She was like, well, the only reason we signed you was because we're trying to get Josh Alexander. Thank you, Brandi, for letting us know that AEW will be signing Josh Alexander. Since Josh Alexander right now is a free agent, and he's not looking like he's going to go back to Impact. So that is it for me today in the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. I told you I'm going to come in and give you my feedback. Let me know what you guys think about this. Give me your comments, your feedback on this. Let me know if you guys want to follow me. Check out other videos I have here. Follow me and hit that subscribe button. Hit that the thumbs up, and and share it with your friends. And again, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. I usually be on Twitter a lot live. You can follow me on the Ultimate One or the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. You'll find me faster there. So Chokeslam Wrestling Report on Twitter, and I usually put polls up. I usually put a lot of stuff there so you guys can follow me there. Again, also I have a merchandise store. You can check it out, tcwr.veryimpressive.com. And you can also check the audio podcast that I do every Sunday. I got tons of stuff there. You can follow that on Apple, Spotify, what else? Amazon Music, Popbean, and you can follow that also. And then on my YouTube store, well, not my YouTube store, I'm sorry, on my apparel store, you can also got access to the YouTube video of the week that I put there, and also the audio. So click on any of those, and then check out my apparels. I got snapback hats there. I have t-shirts. I have hoodies. Again, that's tcwr.veryimpressive.com. I want to give shout out to my supplier, Vernick Alvarez from R32 Store. That's R32 Store. Check it out on his little stuff that he got. So that's my man right there. He supplies all the apparels and all that. So until then, guys, be safe. Let me know what you think about this whole situation, and I will get back to you. So until then, be safe.